We have a saboteur in our midst, but I'm back. Sorry about that, kids. I can only do so much. I'm a soldier in the Earl Army. And sometimes I'm a one-man army, but that's okay. Hopefully this is better, AC/DC 5150. It's the perils of West Hollywood. Hey, 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 hey. Unfortunately, I do what I can. And sometimes that's not good enough. But, you know, I mean, just my neighborhood Wi-Fi is not the best. So I do what I can, and sometimes, most of the times, it's good enough, and sometimes it is not. But I think we have the Wi-Fi straightened out. We are at full strength, taking the um, hotspot Wi-Fi from my iPhone. So hopefully this is better. If it's not, I might just quit the business. And who knows? I might just sell out and become an all Dabbleverse stream. That is the last gasp for me. Well, West Hollywood is the gutter for Wi-Fi. I will tell you that much. Kay is in the building. I believe I will be meeting Kay at Hackamania. I will only be doing the stand-up shows. I will not be participating in the tomfoolery of the podcast. No, I'm just kidding, AC/DC. You know, I'm the little stream that could, just wading my waters through the negativity. And I don't care. Earl's Hogzilla is blocking the Wi-Fi signal. Thank you, Corpse Stench. It's not quite that big, but who knows? I mean, it is thick. So Netflix, I think I'm the only comic in LA not on the festival. But it bugged me a little bit until I started to see who the people on it were. Like, not the big names, but like I'm seeing literal open mic level comics posting, "Hey, I'm on the Netflix as a joke festival." So, you know, I don't know, and I know the guy who books the festival. So, you know, there's not much I can do about it. But I really don't worry about what other people get because it doesn't really affect me. But I mean, this is a big festival, so it's being posted about a lot. So, you know, good for you, ACDC. Everyone, check in with their dick size so Kay can be the. I think she's the only female in chat. Have you ever considered your own festival? Yes, the Earl Skakel isn't a joke festival. Coming soon. Coming soon. Oh, you are a female, Luna. We've got two females. For some reason, I thought Luna Shtick was just the take on lunatic, and you were a dude. My bad. 1,000 apologies. So I don't think there's anyone in the LA area, but I do have 2 shows tonight. First one at the Fanatic Salon in Culver City, second one at the world famous Comedy Store in the Holtzman spot, closing out the main room. And, like I said, I will be at Hackamania doing the stand-up only. I'm not gonna be participating, in the Dabbleverse-like podcast. I can't be a part of that. Maybe I'll take Kay to dinner if she comes. Yes, yes, that Josh Nasser is a hoot, but he's another one that, was a struggling comic, couldn't really get booked a lot, and now through TikTok and YouTube is blown up. He's got like 1,000,000 subscribers on here or something like that. Got 1,000,000 subs on TikTok, and now he has clubs contacting him who before wouldn't even return his email to host. Uh, well, I mean, that's up to them. Well, don't let that stop anyone. Um, you know, and it really is, the business of Hollywood is full of bullshit. I mean, you look at Matt Rife 2 years ago, Netflix wouldn't have returned his emails. But now he's playing, I think he's headlining their Hollywood Bowl show. So it really is possible to pretty much, as Jordan has done and others, to make it on your own. Just make your own shit and wait for the phone calls to roll in, baby dolls. So that's what I've, tried to do with this stream. Not make it with this stream, but just concentrate on making it as good as I can. Uh, and take it from there. I did hear that Milton Berle had a big dick. Just my opinion. Rife is terrible. To be honest, I've never really seen him do stand up. Like, I remember one time I was waiting in the hallway to go on in the original room, and they had just given the person ahead of me the light. So, and Matt was in the main room. He had sold out 2 shows in the main room on a Wednesday night. That's pretty impressive. So I thought, yeah, let me just pop my head in there, see what the hype is about. And unfortunately for Matt, I walked in when he had forgotten his joke, and he just kind of he paused and he looked at the crowd, and you couldn't have fit another person in the main room. And he's like, I think I'll just take my shirt off. And he started acting like he was going to take his shirt off with the buttons. And the crowd went nuts. So when you have that kind of connection to an audience, you don't really have to be that funny. So wasn't Milton Berle Stephen Piercy's uncle? No, Marshall Berle uh, was Rat's manager, which explains why Milton Berle was in Round and Round and Back for More. So it's that explains the Rat Milton Berle connection. And hello to everyone. We got some people coming in. I didn't realize Kevin was going live this early, but hey, I got to go on when I got to go on. I used to really be like, I can't go on because this person's streaming. Now I just go on and fuck it. If there's no one on, great. If there's other people on, what can I do? But I'm like the Dabbleverse alternative. And I do realize that I am getting people from the Dabbleverse. But I'm assuming you're here because if you want to talk about that, you'll go to Kevin's stream. Um, So, or who, Chads or Rays or I did catch the Bruins King game. Big win for the Kings. They've kind of gone off the rails a little bit. Um, but they are 3-1 under new coach Jim Hiller. So, and then they play tomorrow in Pittsburgh. Um, well, I think Kevin's the funniest guy in the Dabbleverse. Uh, I wish he did stand up, but oh, I agree with you, Kay. I mean, it's just that's why I kind of never really got in it. I mean, it's the same shit literally every day. You know, you know, Chad and the credit card, Stuttering John and his drinking or whatever. Steel toe is this. Melton is that. I just have nothing to add to it. You know, and like I think you've seen. I always said that the beginning of the end for the Dabbleverse, I think I told Melton this, I don't know, 6 months ago, is when they start coming after me. Because then that's a clear sign. Okay, they've run out of targets. So, and little by little, they have certain people. So, you know. Oh, he kind of busted my balls, I don't know, about five, right before, no, right after I told Melton that. Um, you know, but really what he was saying didn't really hurt my feelings. I only play the Comedy Store. Oh, that's like the number one club in the country. So, you know, I mean, I don't do the road much because I don't have to. My super chat and Patreon type money is my voiceovers. Why the hell would I travel across the country to say do the funny zone in Jacksonville and make maybe 5 grand for the weekend when I could hopefully get one voiceover gig a month that pays that, being a bad guy on a Netflix cartoon or a recurring character on an Adult Swim cartoon. I'm good. I mean, this is why I don't do the road. Residual checks, baby. Now, those may be about $2, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going on in Tampa. I would come to Tampa. So, I mean, but see, here's the great thing about residuals. Those could be thousands of dollars or literally be a combined at $10. I mean, usually, I get a couple checks a week and it's somewhere in between. I just got one for $700 and literally the one that came with that, 7 cents. So, but what Kevin was saying didn't really, hurt my feelings or whatever. Yes, please, all hail days with Jordan and the Lion. Um, if I come to Greensboro, I've been looking up flights and whatnot. I will be there with Jordan and his better half, seeing Sting's final match. Yes, Yager 68 will be getting his number raised to the rafters. I just saw someone say something about Bischoff shitting on the Young Bucks. Um, I like to give people credit. Who said that? Uh, I don't think Ron Jeremy lived in a mansion, to be honest with you. Um, I'm trying to find who mentioned that about Eric Bischoff. I can't see it. So, but I haven't listened to that part from. Well, see, Kongzilla, you can drop a super chat to KB because I don't panhandle for money here. Uh, so oh, wow, that's great, AC/DC. I wish they, had a like, a I see I don't have a CD player anymore, my car is, um, has, where I can play my Spotify on the phone. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what he said about the Young Bucks situation, but, I think I can pretty much guess. I mean, it doesn't really make sense that the Young Bucks have a beef with Sting. Um, Maybe Darby, but I mean, I think it could have been a better opponent. But the problem is, Sting is 64 years old. He can't wrestle by himself anymore. Um, yeah, but shipping Secret Snake would probably be $1,000. Like it's a lot. Um, so if you were local, I mean, I'm sitting right now. It's probably 10 grand worth of CDs. So I don't know if I can give them away for free, but it wouldn't be. Uh, I wouldn't like, try and rake the coals either. But we'll talk about, and message me on Instagram. I don't want to turn this stream into a swap meet. Um, but it is a substantial CD collection. Bedard is the real deal. He is no joke. Um, I mean, he's a little tiny for the NHL, but he can move. His, which is kind of how he got his jaw broken. Well, we have our first super chat of the evening. It's okay if it's the last. Kongzilla, $5. KB and Earl rule. Jags, 68. Pens Kings, LOL. I sent a $5 since I sent one to KB ragging on Levy. Well, listen, this shows you my business acumen. Only super chat Kongzilla, and the rest of you really, if you're pleased with what you're receiving. Um, I don't do this. That's why my streams are typically an hour and a half. I can't do 3 to 4 or 5 hour streams. I just can't. I mean, I don't criticize anyone's business model. Um, so, uh, I'm not speaking about anyone specifically, but I feel if you're doing streams that long, you're just basically on the DL saying, "Give me money," and I will never do that. Um, I like KB. I just find the whole Dabbleverse world boring to me. But I also have ADD, so I tend to move from things uh, once the meat is off the bone. And although I don't like talking about it, I mean, with Stuttering John, it's Carl, started it and pretty much said what had to be said, and then Shuley came in and took whatever meat was on that bone off, and so now these people just have John on, and I don't know John. I've done one show with him, the Comedy Store. It was a Robert Schimmel tribute. Seemed like a nice enough guy. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just have. I literally have ADD, so I can't. I get bored easily, and I'm friends with all those guys, but I just don't. Um, I have nothing to add to it, so I'd rather just talk about it, whatever, for an hour, and then hopefully, eventually, that'll catch on. I mean, my first. Um, well, I think if you get bored easily, it's a sign you have, or is it ADD or ADHD? that's a sign you have it. Like, like, I can't focus on that stuff anymore because 'cause I'm just sick of hearing the name Stuttering John, you know, Chad, and I'm closest with Chad, but, like, just the constant ripping of him, and he encourages it, but, like, it's just, I'd rather, "You gotta give me this. My stream may not have the most numbers, but, um, I would, say that I rarely repeat myself on here." I just hit start stream, end stream, and everything in between is just where the stream goes. We talk about hockey, we can talk about wrestling, we can talk about stand-up comedy, we can talk about, you know, whatever you guys wanna talk about. So, um, because when I first started streaming, I thought, "I wanna be an alternative," you know? This is like I'm like grunge when hair metal was at the peak of its powers, and little by little, grunge kinda took hold of the scene. And Lois has just come down the stairs. She don't like to be on stream, though. I didn't know that. Quadruple A 1945. That would involve me having to go to Vegas. Well, maybe I'll do it at Hackamania. I'll just pack up the CDs and go, give me what you want. I'm a pretty easy negotiator. I've never taken Adderall because Adderall, from what I understand, makes you hyper focused. And I don't have any problem uh, about being focused. I almost get too focused. Like once something enters into my brain, it's hard to let it go. So, but I just get, well, it is out here. Well, it also depends on what doctor you go to. Like my doctor, and I don't go to him very much, just for a checkup here and there. He could get a prescription for Adderall real fast because he knows. I mean, if you go to a legitimate doctor, um, you know, their reputation at the pharmacy is pretty good. But if you go to like a fly by night doctor or a new doctor and they write you a script, I think the pharmacies now give it a little more of a stern look. What are the side effects of Adderall? I mean, I remember when I took Prozac for about, I don't know, 3 to 4 months, way back in the late 90s, I believe. I couldn't get it up. And the girl I was dating at the time was hot. Like, she was hot. Um, and she probably thought I was gay. I mean, but that made me more depressed that I couldn't get it up than my actual depression. So, well, I've never taken it. So, but I had an ex girlfriend who took it, and she got laser focused on things, and she was already a hard worker. So, like, that was probably the positive side of it is it made a hard worker already focused like 10 times as focused, but it also a driver. Now if you see in the corner of my right layer, that is my framed Yarmir Yager picture, so shout out to number 68 getting his number retired tomorrow. um uh, Yeah, I mean, I think from what I understand, it has meth-like qualities. So it kind of, it's good and bad. And I think after a while, you have to take more of it. It's like any drug, because your body gets used to the dosage and then you have to up it. And then you're like a heroin addict where it's never enough. And then that's where the problems start, um, unfortunately. So luckily, I'm pretty motivated pretty focused, but I do lose focus fast or lose attention. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's with anything. It's like with TRT for older dudes and past 50. The initial benefits are great because it gets you more youthful and vigorous, but then your body itself stops making testosterone, and then you're fucked. You just kind of like, and then you get off it, and then your body, it's like a deflated tire. Uh, I mean, that's what I do, Kay. Exercise is my new Prozac. Yeah, I think anyone, a lot of students, doctors, people in med school, for the late night exam or for the late night study sessions. Um, and obviously, when you're trying to become a doctor, you have to retain a lot of information, and to retain that much information, you got to have a lot of energy. Yes, the Kings beat Boston today, Grimace, 5-4 in overtime. The first goal of his long NHL career, Brant Clark on a breakaway out of the penalty box. Um, Amphetamine salts. That sounds scary. I'm in med school and a Jew, so you'll graduate. It was a big win because the Kings are. Well, it was a little lucky, Chris, because I think Deneau just threw the puck off the boards to clear it, but it was ended up being a perfect pass for Clark to just skate into, and who I don't know who the Bruin guy trying to get back was, but he was not going to catch Clark. And of course, another feast or famine game for Pierre-Luc Dubois. On one play, he left his man completely alone in front of the net, who scored. And then, like a couple minutes later, he made a great play along the boards to get the puck to Gavrikov, who scored. So, you know, uh, he's just the player you love to hate and hate to love when he does something good. Yeah, I mean, Boston's a good team. So hopefully, the Kings are 3-1 under the new coach. Hopefully, this is a sign they're going to bounce and play better. But it's they were, I think, 20-7, and now this is only their sixth win in like 19 games since that. So it's a tale of two seasons for the Kings for sure. Yeah, 150 pages a day and write 25-page position papers once a week citing the assigned ratings. I mean, you'd have to be on drugs. There's no way your body could do that um, naturally. Uh, oh yeah, what's that guy's name? Underwood or the guy who played Side Splitters? Lawrence Skippy. Fuck, I forget his name. I can't imagine him being funny. Like I've never met the guy, but I don't imagine him writing jokes. No, that's all right. Let me look his name up real fast. I don't have a producer, so I've got to look up my own shit. Skippy from Family Ties, was it? Mark Price. I mean, uh, I can't say he's not funny, but once again, I've never seen him perform. And that's what I love about the Comedy Store is that nobody would let him on the stage at the Comedy Store. But, who knows? Well, Luna, I'll take your help. I don't know. You could probably get energy drinks as a sponsor. The problem is, and I'm honest, my numbers aren't amazing. So I can imagine them saying, well, we'll send Earl a case of energy drinks. But, I'd prefer to get money. Even though I don't need it, money is money. So, do what you can, Luna. I've been getting a lot of offers of help. Kip Smith has offered to be the moderator. But the thing with me is I don't really need moderators. Yes, Dr. Nova, get your pants off and beat it. Um, Sheriff Numbskull, they are especially low tonight because KB is live. That's okay, Sheriff, but thank you. I didn't know he was going live, so I money. No, I don't need money. We've been doing this for a half hour. Have you heard me ask for money once? Nope. Well, I mean, yeah, I average, between 20 and 40. And then on Sunday nights, it bumps up between 50 and 70 for whatever reason. So, I'll take it. I mean, I've only been monetized a month. So, although you always want more in stand up comedy in terms of, your numbers, I'm satisfied with that. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, ACDC, is that, if I were to sit here and go, okay, I'm not going to stream until no one else is streaming, I wouldn't be able to stream. Uh, well, I like to say, Luna, I want money, I don't need it, if that makes any sense. And that's really how I live my life. I want, I don't need. Pots and pans. It's hit a stall because all the homes out here look alike to me. So it's overwhelming. I looked at a house the other day that was, kind of nice in Encino, but Encino is it's not far. Like with no traffic, it's 20 minutes, but there's never no traffic. So and even though I don't drive that much anymore, uh, it's just it's a little too far, for anything. Anything I have to do is in Hollywood or West LA in terms of auditions or whatnot. Um, oh, really, Dr. Nova? I mean, yeah, the Skakel Trust has Earl covered. I mean, I got a few bucks in the bank. Well, wanting is great. We all want money. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the stream who said, "Hey, if I give you this, would you take it?" But if I said, "Do you need it?" Um, I saw another guy taking a shit when I was walking Lois the other night. At the end of my street, I see this huge black dude, and I knew he was homeless, which is fine, and I'm not hating on him for that. But he just looks at me, gets to the alley, and just drops his pants and takes a shit. Uh, well, I would think you wouldn't do cocaine in front of the kids, but I love that area, Montana. That's where I take Lois for a walk late at night. I don't walk Lois around here anymore. Like at night, it's too dangerous, man. And the scary thing is the fucking sheriff's station is right across the street, and the cops are the criminals. They don't give a fuck. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I take caffeine to take care of that. You're right, Luna. But I mean, it was just so crazy, and this was in the middle of the daytime, man. And there's a barber shop right at the edge of the alley, and he basically was doing it in front of customers. So it kind of made me feel sad, but it's like, what do you do? I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ, man. This guy just took a shit in the middle of the sidewalk in an alley in broad daylight. So that's another reason why I'm looking to move. Like this house in Encino would have been perfect because my next door neighbor would have been a cop. So I would have loved. You think I do, Kongzilla, with these stories I tell, but I live in downtown West Hollywood. Oh, thank you, Dr. Nova. I had a good time. I don't get involved in the Danish O'Neill drama. It wasn't brought up once. I don't wanna know, it's none of my business, but, you know, it was a fun time, I get along with DeWitt, so. Oh, really? Interesting. Wild Arms 007, can you right now, let me see what router I have. Netgear, can you, message me um, the type of cable? I'm not even on my cousin's comedy show Wednesday night. Now, a lot of you people, people ask me, "Well, Earl, if I can't, tip you super chats or memberships or whatever, how can I help you?" Start, messaging my cousin on Twitter. "How come your cousin's not on the show?" Just to fuck with him. I've heard my comedy. I know. Welcome to Hollywood, Luna. I've heard my comedy would do quite well in New York because New York, I think, more so than LA, they keep it real out there. Like the one thing I like about the Stand, which is my home club in New York, they don't put up Instagram models or reality show people, whereas out here, almost every club does. The Comedy Store doesn't, but most other clubs in the city um, will put up someone who's like, I don't know, on Vanderpump Rules, and they've never done comedy before. Yes, quadruple A. I mean, no offense, because I'm friends with like Dustin Ibarra and Trey Stewart, but uh, that's my fucking cousin. You think I could have gotten on that show? Um, and Rob Schneider, as cool as he is, was like, "Hey, just come down and check it out." Like, check it out. What am I, Angel Salazar? Check it out. That's an inside comedy joke for you guys. Um, no, I mean, I'm too established here in the LA scene. Like, I'm not a famous comic, obviously, but um, I can go up pretty much anywhere I want in LA, whereas in New York, I'd kind of be starting from scratch. I mean, I wouldn't be completely unknown, but I would be kind of going on late night, which I don't mind, but in New York, late night is different than LA. Like tonight I'm going on at 12:15 at the Comedy Store in New York. I'd be going on at literally 2:30 in the morning. And after 25 years in comedy, I want a little more than that. So I know it really is, Luna. I mean, it's kind of funny to me. You'd think I'd be the first person booked on my cousin's stand-up show, but I am not. So, and after seeing, um, some of the people on the Netflix is a joke festival. I mean, literally, I saw one girl, and I'd say this if it was a guy too. She's an open mic comic, and she's on a show on the festival, like it's an official show. So, yes, I am like the 80s metal scene and the glam scene. I'm a glam comic, you might say. Yes, I was born in Santa Monica, raised in Bel Air. Uh, I do have a nice Will Osprey like coat. It's Dustin Ibarra and my friend Trey Stewart. So I'm happy that all those guys are on the show. Uh, but like, fuck, man, I'm his cousin. Um, yeah, I mean, he might get money. He'll get some money, but I don't know how much. I mean, Tim and Rob are like big names, but Moose Jaw, the new Austin. Yeah, and I get asked all the time if I'm going to move to Austin, but I didn't like most of the people in Austin when they were in Los Angeles. Why the hell would I move there? Um, Brittany Fox, yes, they started out in Pittsburgh. Actually, they started out as Cinderella, and then the record label said Michael Kelly Smith, who co-founded Cinderella with Tom Kiefer, I believe the record company was like, "Hey, you got to kick that guy out. He's not the most attractive guy." Um, I have a Barbados leather trench coat that's very lovely, and I love Enough's Enough. Um, it's more Steve Stevens, like the guitar player from Billy Idol. Thank you very much. But well, I think who was the singer, Kongzilla? Was it Dizzy Dean Davidson or Tommy Paris? Yeah, but I mean, Austin is a good comedy scene there. I mean, I know you can. Here's the thing with Austin, the money's good there. I mean, you get paid crazy money, especially at the mothership. Uh, but I don't think anyone goes to Austin to make it. Like, you still got to be here. All the auditions are out here. Uh, you know, but I think if you're established in Austin, it's like obviously Red Band. Like, you see Red Band's new house, like it's fucking amazing. Um, I uh, yeah, but I think Rogan. I don't know exactly the reasons why, but like the tax incentives are crazy there. There's no state income tax. The taxes are lower. I mean, in LA, I'm taxed on my fucking taxes. So, I mean, I haven't thought of moving, but holy fuck, man. Like, just my car insurance is crazy because I haven't had an accident ever. I think my last speeding ticket was 1988. And it's still high. Like, it's like, what do I gotta fucking do? And the guy who does my car insurance is like, move to Acton, which is like this fucking area about an hour. Whoa, whoa! TV just came on. Which Acton is about an area an hour north of here. It's literally just vacant fields with homes that are used mainly for dog breeding. Not like the illegal ones, but like professional dog breeders, show dogs and whatnot. That is a good song to start the workout to. I will be working out a little later. Uh, oh, I mean, dude, when I went to Austin, what was it, 2 years ago to play the Vulcan Gas Company, I was blown away at the homeless on that. What is it, 6th Street? Like, it was like walking around the set of The fucking Wire, man. It was crazy town. I wish my car insurance was $85 a month. I mean, when I had the Dodge Hellcat, it was nuts. My Jeep is almost just as bad. And I said to my car insurance guy, what am I doing wrong here? He's like, where you're living. So, and don't get me started on the gas. It's just it's out of control here. Yeah, but you got a challenger, man. I get it. I mean, that's and it all it depends on what you put down. Now, most people, I don't know what you did, but most people don't, when they're leasing, put a lot down on the car because you're like, well, I'm not going to put $5,000 to $10,000 down on a car that's not technically mine. But that's why your payments are high. So now I always used to buy my cars because I drove a lot, so it made sense. But now I don't drive as much, so leasing actually is much more just smarter decision for me. So, um, I mean, California is a very, very expensive place to live. Um, yeah, I mean, but then you got to live in Yucca Valley. Like Acton is. I could live in a mansion in Acton. I mean, my condo's worth about 1-1. I don't say that to impress you guys. It's just what my condo's worth. A 1-1 place in Acton is a mansion, but then you got to live out there. And everything I do would be an hour drive. Comedy Store, hour drive, 0 traffic, hour drive back. Now, if I'm doing a main room spot, it's okay because you make a lot of money in the main room like I am tonight. But if I had an original room spot, which is $50, I'm literally spending $50 in gas to get there. So, well, it's for dog breeders too, because the parcels of land are so big. Like my one friend, Bernadette, she breeds Alaska Malamutes, show dogs, and she's not some backyard breeder. She's like a legit uh, AKC um, certified, breeder. But what is the Ray DeVito strategy, Jack Burton? How much you make in the main room? Well, it's if the show is sold out, which most Saturday nights are, you split the door with the comics. Now, the great thing about that is before the pandemic, they would have one main room show. So it was just a continuous show, say 12 comics. So you're splitting the door with 12 comics. Now they have two shows, a 7:30 and a 10:30. And there's only like 5 comics each. So you split the door with 5 comics. So sold out show in the main room, 5 comics each. That's 400 people, saying paying $20 to $40. Now let's just say 100 people got in for free or through various connections. At least 50 got in for free. You're splitting the door with 4 other comics, 300 plus paying customers. So it's a nice check. Um, Santa Clarita, I did a TV pilot there. I had to get there at 5:45 in the morning for like a month straight, and it was pretty brutal to get there. I had to leave my home 4:30 in the morning. And here's the crazy thing, it was a pilot called Damaged Goods, where everyone on the pilot today, the pilot was in 2012, every person from the pilot works today. Robert Peters is like probably the most in-demand character actor you've ever seen. Uh, he's in all these commercials and like Spielberg period piece movies. Um, Gabriel Tigerman is probably the number one commercial actor of all time. He's in probably 3 to 5 national commercials a year. Melissa Villaseñor is on SNL. Brian Drolet, who was on The Hills, he's constantly working. Nick Nicotera is always working. I'm doing my thing. And so we did this pilot at Santa Clarita Studios. We were on the Rizzoli and Isles set. And it was not a low budget pilot, but everyone was calling in favors. Like the set designer was like an Academy Award winner who knew the producer, and he said, "I'll do it for free." And um, the cameraman, same thing. He was on some like Spielberg movie. He said, "I'll do it free." Like everyone was working for free or little to no money. I mean, I think we got like paid $100 a day, whereas if this was a pilot, say done by CBS, we'd all be getting 2,500 a day. But we all believed in the project so much that everyone donated their time, and they rented a 3D camera, which at the time in 2012 was like really innovative, and they never even pitched it. They had me in to do the voiceovers for the episode, and they never pitched it. So, Vic Tayback, I like seeing Vic Tayback. See, this is why I do the stream, to get a Vic Tayback reference. Stow it. Uh, well, Steven, the wrestling podcasts, there's really no way to say this other than to say it. Um, we just didn't do good numbers for whatever reason, and we got good guests. Like every episode of AEW I watch, oh, we had this person on, we had that person on, we had this person on. But we just, it just that, the Store Podcast Network is numbers based. And I think Justin Martindale's podcast is really the only one that does well, to be honest. So, and the one with Rick Ingram and Eleanor. Other than that, I think they got rid of all the podcasts. Oh, thank you, Steven. Um, yeah, no, but Mel, Vic Tayback would always tell Flo, stow it. And he was also good in that Patrick Dempsey movie, Pizza. Was it Pizza Boy? Um, so thank you. I mean, yeah, you guys can ask anything. You don't have to super chat me. I'll try and read all the questions. Of course, when they all look alike, I I might lose one or two, but yeah, I mean, Nikki Sixx moved to Wyoming. I think Bischoff moved to Wyoming. I think who else? Austin. I don't think many people move to New York because it's expensive in New York as it is here. I mean, Vegas is cool, but like, um, you got to live there. I mean, Gene Simmons is like me, man. LA. I mean, I'm like the king of LA. So I can't imagine living anywhere else. I mean, a lot of my friends have moved to Vegas, and Vegas. There's a lot of comedy clubs there, but they're not that good. I mean, Brad Garrett's is the best club by far. But if you play Brad Garrett's club, you have to stay there for a whole week, and I'm good on that. Of course, Brad Garrett. I had a scene with Brad Garrett in the very short-lived series "I'm Dying Up Here" when Dom Herrera was drowning in the pool, and I ran in to interrupt Brad Garrett and Clark Duke, going, "Hey, Fitzy's drowning." Um, and no, I was not around for the Comedy Store strike. Someone had asked that. Yeah, well, I mean, the LA sheriffs and LAPD, they make about 100 grand a year plus. So, like I said, with acting, uh, 100 grand a year in Santa Clarita, it goes a lot farther than it does, say, in West Hollywood. Um, hey, Brad Garrett's a great actor. I thought he should have won an Emmy for "I'm Dying Up Here," but he did not. Um, is that the earthquake that happened in the World Series when Dave Parker stole second base? Um, Dom Herrera's great. His trailer was right next to mine, so we just sit there and talk shit. Of course, Dave Parker, my favorite baseball player of all time. Check out Jordan the Lion's interview with Dave Parker on Jordan's channel, amongst the many other videos. Let me check my internet. I'm at full power. Refresh, Kongzilla. Refresh. The Cobra. He should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but he is not because of his participation snorting a lot of booger sugar. Apparently, the Pirates had like a full-time Coke dealer just come in the locker room and distribute his wares. But Dave Parker should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he was the best player in the game for 5 years. And the scary thing is he had bad knees. I think he had like double knee surgery or something in high school. So he never really had a good set of wheels, which is kind of sad because look what he did on two bad wheels. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Um, well, I mean, can you imagine? Uh, we are. I think when I laugh for no reason, that means someone is in the fucking building, and that someone is Peter Chicken Man Brennan, Daddy Man. So it's Peter Chicken Man Brennan, $2. Daddy Man, can you send Mindy the waitress the link? And I forgot to do that for our other tipper of the day. Kongzilla, $5. KB and Earl rule. Jags, 68. Pins, Kings, LOL. I send a $5 since I sent one to KB ragging on Levy. For those of you not knowing what the hell I'm doing, anyone who super chats me gets the ray gun treatment. And while I'm doing this, so I'd like to wish a happy 67th birthday to my good friend and the first American to play in the National Hockey League, the great Val James. Celebrating Black History Month. The great Valmore James, the first African American, because Willie O'Ree was Canadian. And Agina Babina in the house, a house moderator. So everyone stay in line. Doc Ellis probably should be in the Hall of Fame, but to me, Dave Parker is the biggest omission. He hits every check mark. I mean, his prime was short, I guess you'd say, but I would say from like 77 to 82, he was the best player in the game. Dr. Chow, the Mega G, gracing us with his presence. Just doing a little stream, trying to make people happy, Dr. Chow. That's all right, Richard. Doc Willis should be in the Store Hall of Fame. I completely agree. Doc Willis, my Jellies castmate, um, legendary Comedy Store employee. I'm not sure what Doc's up to now, but Doc is a good man. I know Doc. They said he had the best quote about pitching a no hitter on LSD. He said when he looked at the catcher, he saw three catchers, and he just threw at the one in the middle. Probably not. Jack Burton, you're out of control right now. But unfortunately, you're right. But there's nothing I can do about it. I have looked into getting, fiber optic cable. It is not available in my room or my city. So I've tried. It's not like I've been lazy and just, fuck it, I'll just go on the local Wi-Fi internet. I've tried. This is as good as it's going to get, people. And I am working on getting a wall behind me. Eventually, I'm going to go upstairs, which is a fully carpeted room. There's a nice vacant space where I could put my Earl sign, my berry jelly, half Earl, half jelly painting, and that's what I'm using right now, Cold Sea. I'm using the Wi-Fi off my phone, hotspot. So, and I have entered discussions with Radical Neon for a second neon sign, Daddy Man. So I can't wait to have a wall behind me. So a shit or bit. Not today, but we can always do that in the future. My birthday is September 17th, 1968. Joe Mauer was first ballot Hall of Famer this year. Knew him in high school, and that's awesome. Hello, Stacy. But like Dave Parker should be in the Hall of Fame before Joe Mauer. No offense to Joe Mauer or your high school, Dr. Chow, but I mean, it's just he pissed somebody off. I mean, Pete Rose, that's a tough one. I mean, it's been rumored that he never bet on the Reds to lose. So everyone's like, well, if he never bet on them to lose and he was trying to win every game, he should be in. But here's the problem with that. And I'm a Reds fan. You know, the Reds were my team when I was a kid because my dad knew the owner before Marge shot, Happy Williams. I still have an autographed King Griffey Senior baseball. But so did Dave Parker. Um, I mean, Dave Parker was a MVP. I think he had a batting title, and I've been saying Daddy for a long time, to be honest with you. Um, and I mean, he hit for power. He could steal. He had the greatest, arguably the greatest arm in MLB history. He was a lot more than just that one throw in the All Star game. But okay, thank you. We got some women in the chat. That's always nice. Um, so, but you know, I think because of his involvement in the cocaine trials, he wasn't blacklisted out of the league, but he's probably sadly never going to get in the Hall of Fame, which is insane to me. Like, you know, I mean, Ty Cobb's in the Hall of Fame. He was an open racist. You know, Gaylord Perry admitted to throwing spitballs in almost every one of his wins. Don Sutton doctored baseballs. Um, you know, there's so many cheaters in the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's why I think McGuire, Sosa, Palmeiro, Bagwell, I think they should all be in the Hall of Fame. Do you think they were the only people who were cheating? You know, they got caught, but like you know how many players were taking basically speed to stay awake and whatnot. This might be a all-time high for women in the stream. Let's keep that going. Oh, see, I mean, you know, I mean, you make a good point, Dr. Chow, but I will argue that his prime, and granted, it was, you know, a short prime, 4 to 5 years. You know, he was the best player in the league. I mean, but you know, when you see like Fred McGriff in the Hall of Fame, you know, and I love Fred McGriff, but you know, Ted Simmons is in the Hall of Fame. Like what? Like good catcher, but if you're starting a baseball team and they say you can have Dave Parker, you can have Ted Simmons, who are you going to pick? So, part yes, LA, West Hollywood is its own city. We used to have our own uh, sheriff's department, but now it's LA sheriffs who come and work in West Hollywood, which I think is part of the reason there's so much crime in West Hollywood. Is I think a lot of the sheriffs aren't gay, so they don't like working here. You know, it's like putting someone who lives in Beverly Hills. I want to be a sheriff. Okay, well, we're going to put you in Compton. Well, they're probably not going to be pretty jazzed about that. Um, oh no, I wasn't like arguing with you, Doctor Chow. I was just saying like. Uh, you know, sometimes stats don't tell the whole story. Like, I mean, I'm old enough to remember Dave Parker in his prime, and it's just like, you know, he was fucking unbelievable and kind of had a career resurgence in Cincinnati. And he wasn't horrible in on the Angels when he was teamed with Dave Winfield, and even in Milwaukee and Oakland, he wasn't bad. But you know, he just uh, you know, I really think his involvement in the cocaine trials was he pissed somebody off. These are my new glasses. Thank you very much. These are a shout out to my old glasses. We'll put them on one last time before they are retired. Double vision. So I like these. They don't slip off my face. A little tight around the ears, but yeah, Bobby Grich. I don't know if I would say he's a Hall of Famer, but well, I think Salt Lake City might be getting the Arizona Coyotes, which is embarrassing that the Arizona Coyotes are playing in a fucking college arena. I mean that they shouldn't be in the league. I harken back to when the Winnipeg, no, not the Winnipeg, just the Colorado Avalanche were the Quebec Nordiques. Man, those Quebec Montreal games were like Bloods and Crips. Uh, well, I'm not saying birthday boy Stabman Maurer shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but I think that I mean, I'm just a big Dave Parker fan, but I also you guys are all I'm the majority of this stream is pretty young, so you probably only know Dave Parker through that one throw in the All-Star game. But I'm telling you, man, that he was like in his prime, the best. You know, for a couple years. I mean, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, Gold Gloves. But when you piss off the wrong people, every sport, every business, comedy, and wrestling, it's pretty political. So if you piss off the wrong people, like Kamala should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, but clearly he pissed off someone. I mean, the guy's dead. Just put him in the fucking hall at this point. Maybe I could do the speech. Um, well, that kind of is Genie, what goes on in West Hollywood, and obviously, for those of you who don't know, West Hollywood's a pretty gay area. Like, I'm the only straight guy in my building. It's 23 units. Um, but I love it here in terms of like my neighbors. Everyone's pretty cool in the building. But the sheriffs clearly aren't. I mean, I'm sure they're told, "Hey, it's a gay area," but you could tell a lot. Not all, but and maybe I shouldn't say a lot, but you could tell probably at least 30% don't dig the atmosphere. Uh, they want the Earl hog. I don't know about that, but oh, this building, yeah, they probably do. Um, I like the Expos. I liked who was. I mean, that's a good one. Dave Parker, Andre Dawson. I mean, Dawson probably had the longer prime, but if you're starting a team, obviously both are great players. I would pick Dave Parker in his prime. So, but um, I mean, it just that's what makes this discussion so great. Bill Madlock, you could argue, should be in the Hall of Fame. I had to kick Bill Madlock out of the gym once because he was behind on his dues. I felt so bad, and he knew it too. Like, I'm saying, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, but my boss is making me do this." But I think I asked him for his autograph in the parking lot. I'm like, "Hey, this probably isn't a good time, but can I get your autograph?" Um, Peter Chicken Man Brennan, out of control. Is Tim Dillon straight? I mean, who knows? Might be gay for pay. Uh, I mean, oh yeah, I mean, I mean, Maurer's definitely up there. I mean, I'm a Johnny Bench guy, but Johnny Bench is a guy who, I mean, I disagree, but I see what you're saying, birthday. I mean, there's so many other guys in the hall who he was better than. Uh, if they were just going like superstar players in there, I'd be like, okay, but like you can't tell me Ted Simmons, who is from the same era, should get in ahead of him. I mean, and there's many other. I love Fred McGriff, but once again, if I'm starting a team, and you say, who do you want, McGriff or Parker? I'd pick Parker. And the pressure on Parker in Pittsburgh of replacing Roberto Clemente, basically. I mean, that's fucking. You can imagine, and he had bad knees. Like, um, I'm not saying you should take a player's medical history into consideration, but um, when you consider that he was doing this on two shitty knees, but the likelihood of him getting in, even with the Veterans Committee, is is probably pretty low. So, um, I'm so bored in here. I mean, Jack, you don't have to stay here. I don't want you to leave, but if baseball talk is boring, go to Kevin's podcast and listen to Stuttering John and Bob Levy talk. Can we all agree that Golden Artist Entertainment is elite? I mean, yeah, we can agree on that, Peter Chicken Man Brennan. Um, See, this is the beauty of me, Jack Burton. We don't talk about um, any of that shit in here. I'd rather talk Dave Parker than Stuttering John. And believe me, I know my numbers would be better if I just started ripping on those guys, and I can't do it. I'd rather have 44 people in here to I'm sure Kevin has 800, 900. I mean, I would love to have 900 people in here, but I just can't. Um, oh, Dr. Chow, I was not saying I don't think Maurer should be in. Um, I just think that, um, that to me is the biggest omission of the Baseball Hall of Fame. But I will admit that uh, you have to be of a certain age to appreciate what I'm saying about the Cobra, um, because he's been out of the spotlight. Is Josh Nasser the stud of the Comedy Store? It depends what you consider stud. Some people might say I'm the stud of the Comedy Store, post Dalia. But that's great. I would love to talk baseball, but I'm a baseball fan of a certain age, so like, you know, I my watching of baseball has dropped off a little bit, but like I grew up with J.R. Richards, Cesar Cedeno, Dave Parker, Cesar Geronimo, um, Tony Perez, Chris Sabo, Barry Larkin. So Earl's Hog is the bouncer at the Comedy Store. My dick isn't that big, guys. Uh, well, I would kill to be 45 again, Luna. Eleanor is the stud of the Comedy Store. She also might possibly be the only Comedy Store comic with a bigger hog. Um, Joey C knows baseball. Like good for him, I guess. I've done a show with Joey C. He's a nice enough guy. I mean, um, I don't really know him, so yes. I'm sure. I don't know if the Dodgers can build anything with the offseason they've had. They got to save their money. I mean, at some point the money's going to run out. Um, so, uh, oh really? I'm sorry about that, Luna. Come back anytime on me. Favorite anime? I don't really want Barry Jelly. Does that count? The Serena Deeb of comedy. I like that. Um, no, I know. I'm just saying. I don't have a problem with Joey C. I don't know him. If we never talk again, I think both of us will survive. Seemed like a nice guy. He was respectful. Um, was quiet when I talked, which is an asset in the dabble world. But I don't really he got he got to the Dabbleverse a little too late, in my opinion. So, but I hope he, has fun, whatever he's doing. Oh, great. Where are you seeing her, Luna? And by the way, I don't, gondola scene in Moonraker was shot on location in Rio. That is a great scene. I'm a big Jaws fan from The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. I wish they would have brought him back. But I also wish, Moonraker is probably my favorite James Bond movie. Um, I just love that movie because I remember going to see it by myself in Westwood, and I guess my only complaint would be I wish they didn't turn Jaws good guy because he could have just been a recurring character, always trying to kill Bond. Uh, but what's your favorite Ding Dong Show memory? Any Hans Gerber appearance? Wow, man, you really are deep, deep into the Comedy Store history, Mr. Brennan. Um, well, I mean, they did play two different positions, so it is hard to compare in this case between me and Dr. Chow, Maurer, and Parker. I just think, it's such a glaring omission, man. Given who else has been let into the hall, um, it's in. I mean, there's some wacky guys who are just like, oh, this guy was a good player, but I don't know if he's great. But it's also like that in the NFL now, where you see they're inducting, 6 to 10 people every year now. At some point, you're just going to have good players getting in. Moonraker is a great 007 movie. It's a little over the top at the end, but everything before that is high tier, late 70s, early 80s. Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, For Your Eyes Only was supposed to be the next Bond movie after Spy Who Loved Me. But the producers wanted to cash in on the Star Wars thing, so they flipped Moonraker ahead of it. Um, I mean, I love Hugo Drax as a bad guy. Jaws as a bad guy was great. Lois Childs, Dr. Holly Goodhead. I love the double entendre. I didn't know that, Jeannie. Well, you might find this also interesting that Inappropriate Earl alumni Jack O'Halloran said he was offered the part of Jaws. Now, I believe Richard Keel is a little taller than Jack O'Halloran and bigger frame wise, but I could have seen Nom from Superman 2 as Jaws, but I love Moonraker. It's just because I loved Hugo Drax. He was a great bad guy. Michael Lonsdale, who I think is still acting. Um, and then I was just watching what's the James Bond with Timothy Dalton and Robert Davi, The Living Daylights, or was it the other one? Uh, well, yeah, it's hard to say what the voters best are. Nolan Ryan, probably. I mean, when someone did a thing of his stats, it's pretty impressive. Like 7 no hitters, 18 one hitters, 32 hitters, like 35 three hitters. Uh, I mean, yeah, it's if you're starting if you're starting a franchise, and when I say you can pick any pitcher you want, I'm talking in their absolute prime. Like Dave Parker in his prime, Joe Mauer in his prime, you know, Brooks Robinson in his prime. So everyone's in their prime. They just go into a magical cryo chamber and walk out. Um, I would say Nolan Ryan has to be the starting pitcher. I mean, he was dominating on just another level, especially for that time. Would I be willing to do a roast battle with Ray DeVito? No, I'm done with roast battle. Um, because yeah, but I'm next level, Dr. Chow. This ain't no Zoom roast battle. Um, like I'm 4-1 on television, and if you look at who I beat, Jesse Joyce, Comedy Central's #1 roast writer. Tom Ballard, who beat Jimmy Carr in the untelevised season, but they gave it to Jimmy just because that's how Jeff Ross works. I beat Jimmy Carr, who plays theaters and arenas. I beat K. Trevor Wilson, who's a legend in Canada. So you just don't get to roast battle me because you want to do it. You got to earn it. Um, so, I mean, if you look up any of my TV battles on, I guess, Comedy Central, like, I'm no joke. And I don't hit you with you look like I go after your comedy. Now against Jimmy Carr and Tom Ballard and Kate Trevor, I couldn't really go after their comedy because they're all great comics. But like I don't go for the, you look like basically slightly more elongated yo mama jokes. I hit you where it hurts. And you can't really hurt me because I know every joke is going to be about my age, which is fine because I'm going to look better physically than anyone I'm battling. Um, and so no, I would not battle anyone at Hackamania. I'm going for the stand-up shows only. Uh, I mean, Jesse Joyce is an amazing roast writer. I still stand by this. Now, if you watched our roast battle, me and Jesse Joyce, he had the best written jokes of anyone in the history of roast battle. I mean, his jokes were nuanced and layered, but that's the format breeds short jokes, real short. Because it's TV, like you're on a time, like you don't have time to do. I mean, Jesse's jokes were so long that Joe Rogan actually interrupted him. It's like, hey, bro, this is like two or three jokes, and and he was kind of right. Like they were just monologues almost, but they were great. But so I think Jesse was not done any favors by battling me because my jokes are quick hitters, perfect for the format. Um, so roast battles are hacked now, especially. Well, I mean, they're just not. I grew up in the prime of the show, and where you had like. Now I'm talking about the LA show. I don't know what goes on in New York, with their battles or anywhere else. But if you look at the people in LA who were battling, it was me, it was Tiana, it was Hinchcliffe, it was Pat Barker. And now I realize you might not know Pat Barker's name, but he's like an elite roast battler, um, and just the best of the best. And now it's just open micers, who are just trying to hang out with Jeff Ross and get an invite to his pool parties. Um, but good on Moses for keeping the show going. I mean, I tell you what, Roast Battle has been a weekly show for 11 years now. They've never taken a week off ever. I mean, maybe one time because Moses got sick. Good evening, Easy123. They all suck. Well, I would. Well, no, I mean, like in LA, I'm talking about the LA scene. There's two people who are good at it of the newer bunch. This big dude named John Luna and Angie Stroud. Uh, that's cool. You only live twice as good. Tony's good. I don't think Tony's good at roast battle. I think he's good at roasting because Tony lost to Tom Ballard and K. Trevor Wilson, both of whom I beat. So I think, but for Kill Tony, I think he's perfect for it. You're just fucking pounding these open micers, and the crowd loves it. I mean, it's playing in arenas now. You can't argue with that. Um, Greatest roast joke and delivery was, yeah, that was a good roast joke. Yeah, well, but Burr's not going to do a roast battle. But you never know, though. I mean, that was one of the things that initially attracted me to roast battle was that anyone could lose. Like you could take an open micer who has no jokes, like from a stand-up perspective, and they could beat someone like Burr because the open micer don't give a fuck, and he's going to come out swinging. It's like when I beat Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr is 100 times more known than I am, but I showed him no respect, and it worked. Who do you think the best roaster was? Roast battler or roaster? I mean, there's two different skill sets. Um, I mean, well, I don't know if that would be interesting to be honest with you, but yeah, I beat Jimmy Carr on. Roaster Foster Brooks, absolutely. Um, well, best roaster. I mean, but I'm old school, so I'm going to say Foster Brooks because he kind of did it in a character. I didn't know DeVito and Stuttering John were battling. I mean, that strikes me as a pretty bad battle. Jimmy Carr is great. People think we don't like each other, but I love him. Best roast battler of all time. I'm going to be honest with you. I think is May. And I didn't win my season. Mike Lawrence did, and Frank Castillo won the second season. But if you look at all the battles I won, uh, every single battle I was the underdog. So um, you know, I I was beating Comedy Central Comics being judged by Comedy Central Comics. So I was not being rooted for. You think Comedy Central wanted to see me beat Jesse Joyce, their number one writer, or Jimmy Carr, or K. Trevor Wilson? Fuck no. So no, I did not beat Don Rickles. Don Rickles and Foster Brooks. I love Joey Diaz. He's a greatest roaster of color. Like roast battler or roaster. I mean, there really weren't a lot of black roasters. I mean, there was Nipsey Russell. That's about it. Do you consider yourself a disruptor? I don't know what you mean by that, Luna. Um, I consider myself someone who doesn't take any bullshit. Uh, oh, you mean a fist fight between Ray DeVito and Stuttering John? I mean, that's got to be even worse than a roast battle between the two. The taxi cab guy. You mean Ben Bailey? Um, oh, I mean, I don't think John would do well in a roast battle. Um, he's not really a roast comic. So, but that's the thing. Anyone can lose a roast battle. I've lost 3 times, all 3 times to women. So, you know, well, here's the thing though, in roast battle, it doesn't really matter who's funnier. I found that a lot of times, I can't say a specific percentage, but um, the worst comic won the battle. So, because roast battle is not about being funny, it's about being mean. It's about hurting them before they hurt you. So, it's really skilled bullying, or I should say, well-timed bullying. You know, um, it's not a joke writing contest. It's okay if I'm battling Ralphie May, it's like, okay, how do I call? Well, Keith Carey was not unstoppable because I beat him. So, and he lost more than he won, pots and pans, to be honest with you. He had a record of like, I don't know, 10-16. So that's hardly unstoppable. And I beat him on 20 minutes notice. Um, Women can be mean, but they're sneaky mean. Like Sarah Tiana, who I lost to, she didn't say anything overtly mean about me, but like it was more just clever wordplay. And but he had a lot of baggage to back himself up. Well, I mean, like in mine and Keith's battle, like I knew every joke was going to be about my age, and I remember just looking at him, going, "Bro, I'm going to outlive you." Like, so yes, I'm older than you, but I turned my biggest weakness in terms of Keith's eyes of my age into a strength, because then the audience turned on him because I started hitting him on. I think the joke that won me the battle in our battle was Keith is so fat, Jesus can't even raise his spirits. Um, so, you know, that is, well, some women are good. Sarah Tiana's a great roaster. Sarah Tiana does not get sympathy votes. I can assure you of that. She is very good. Gay dudes can be, well, Tom Ballard, who Tony lost to, but I beat. Um, he's great because he knows every joke about him is going to be gay. Tom Ballard is so gay, blah blah blah, and that's all Tony hit him with was pretty surface level gay jokes. But I'm not defending Hacks. We're just talking about roast battle. Well, I guess I am defending Hacks, but Tom Ballard just hit him with. It's probably my favorite roast joke ever, and I can't say the word. I'm going to replace the word Tom said, but I think you'll be able to get what the word is. So Tony fired off a gay joke, and Tom Ballard looks at him and goes, "Tony, I might be gay, but you're still a maggot." And it brought the house down. Well, I don't know if he is or isn't. I don't know what anything Tony does, so I can't answer those questions. So, well, I will say in terms of my, like the one battle, I lost to my girlfriend at the time, and we were very cool. We didn't tell each other the jokes, but we, we had an agreement that, hey, we're going to go hard on each other, but I don't really mean anything. So she had a joke about me taking boner pills. And I was like, well, maybe I wouldn't have to take those pills if your nose wasn't so fucking big. And clearly she was hot. Any girl in the room, any guy in the room would have fucked my ex. So, that was probably a joke I shouldn't have done because I came in too hot. Uh, oh, see, I didn't see it, Dr. Chow. I didn't see it. And the funny thing is, if Tony would have beaten K. Trevor Wilson, me and Tony would have battled. So, well, birthday boy, I don't know. Oh, 100%. But, the show, I think, was at its peak. I don't do guests, Gina Bobina. I love the Chowman, but I work alone on these streams. Um, to me, the show was at its peak before Jeff got there. Now people are gonna say, "Oh, you're just saying that because you don't like Jeff," which I don't. I think we all know why, and we don't have to get into that shit. But um, I the show, the first 2 years before Jeff got there, um, it was just the Wild West. It was just a bunch of comics. No one thought the show was gonna get on TV, and it really was blood sport. The room was oversold. I mean, at capacity, and you just it was wild, man. It was like ECW, like because the belly room, the ceilings are low, the walls are pretty close. It just the energy was unfucking believable. Uh, oh, I love Dr. Chow, but see, I'm trying to make this stream different from the standpoint of I don't have guests on and I don't stream snipe other shows because to be honest with you, I don't know how to do that. But even if I knew how to stream snipe, I wouldn't do it. Yes, it was a very good episode, Dr. Chow. You're more than welcome to put the link in the chat. Yes, MySpace 2003 did spawn Dane Cook. Oh, I mean the original roast battle, like before it got to TV, was the best version of the show, in my opinion, because it was just yeah, it was like Mr. T in the basement doing um, one arm pull ups. It was just everyone was hungry and aggressive, and um, like it was just an awesome thing to do every Tuesday night. And the store was just kind of coming back. And Roast Battle was really the first show where people were like, "Hey, we got to go to the store tonight." Um, I mean, there were a lot of great comics stuck in the vortex of the Tommy Morris years. Yeah, we really were in it for the love of the game. I mean, none of us were getting paid, and then I mean, hell, I didn't even get. To be honest with you, this is comedy in a nutshell. In the 5 years I was on the weekly show of Roast Battle. Now, I'm not counting the TV show, which was a competition. It was a rigged competition. I sound like Trump. Roast Battle, the TV show, my season was a completely rigged show, which I was not happy about. But, what can I do? I still got to the live finale. Fuck them all. I mean, I don't know if I'd say 99%, but, I would agree with him that most stand-up sucks because it's all the same shit. But, um, in the 5 years of the weekly show, take a guess. I'm gonna pick one person to take a guess. Gina Babina. Well, actually, I tell you that. Pots and Pans. You seem to be more of a roast battle fan of the weekly show. In the 5 years that I was on the weekly show in the Belly Room Tuesday nights, take a guess at how much money I made. Pots and pans. That's for pots and pans only. Just because he's a little more fan of the weekly show, Gina. Take a guess. I'm not talking until pots and pans guesses. Or maybe we've lost pots and pans. Earl, what are your thoughts on Pauly Shore? He's good to me. I mean, he's a fucking hustler. I'll say that. Well, since Dr. Chow beat pots and pans, I'm gonna be straight up with you. But I'm asking you, pots and pans. How much money do you think I made in 5 years on the weekly show? Now, Dr. Chow has said zero. $5, you're close. $200 in 5 years. And I gave 100 of that to my girlfriend at the time, who was my, $100 a week. Shit, you live in a fantasy land, Luna. So I made $100 in 5 years of working the weekly show and being one of the funniest parts. The Comedy Store Wrestling Podcast, 2 years, I made zero. So in 5 years of Roast Battle, 2 years of the Comedy Store Podcast, I made $100 total, both shows combined. Last month, my first monetized month on YouTube, I made $700. So that's why, like, when I say, hey, I made $700 in stream, Kevin probably makes that in a day. But to me, it's like, hey, man, I'm already ahead of the game. So you got I did get a free t-shirt. 5 years of arcade management, $0. Before I end the stream, we're not ending anytime soon, but I like to thank the tippers, the great Kongzilla and Peter Chicken Man Brennan. Your tipping is appreciated. Well, it's all relative, but I mean, I'm just saying that's why when I sit there and say, hey, I act excited that I made $700 in streaming, I'm like, that's pretty cool and sad at the same time. I did get a free Rocky Romero chop and a couple t-shirts. Just the tippers. Hello. Did they pay me for the Comedy Store show? Fuck no. ACDC 5150, a frequent tipper. Thank you very much. In your primes, who wins a fight, you or Nick DiPaolo? I got to be honest with you. I know nothing about Nick DiPaolo's physical acumen, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not a great fighter unless I feel threatened. So, I would say I won the majority of my hockey fights. This is a ray gun. It's my love gun. So I would, I'm not a great fighter. I'm not super strong, but I've got long arms to do the holdout. Well, I can't get too mad about that, Dr. Chow, because I stole that from Jerry Lewis. But in my defense, at least I'm honest about it. Like I always said, I'm paying tribute to Jerry Lewis by going, hello. But, so I can't get too mad. I mean, I do find it funny that all of a sudden they're doing it. But, I mean, clearly they're ripping me off. But I can't get, like, mad about it. I'm sure I know nothing about him. So in terms of Nick DiPaolo's lady, goodbye. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know who would win a fight between me and Nick DiPaolo. I mean, he's a big guy for sure. So, would you win in a sword fight against the prime Milton Berle? I would not. I would not. But fighting is such a weird. Uh, oh, I just I'm a man of addiction, so I know. But I'm also a man of habit. Like obviously, my drug or alcohol, whatever you want to call it, is this energy drinks. Um, yeah. Well, maybe I should start stealing then. So it's not that hard for me to stay away from alcohol. I mean, I'm around cocaine every fucking night. I'm not tempted at all. Um, but fighting is weird, based on body style. Like, just because someone's bigger than someone doesn't mean anything. You look at Alistair Overeem. He was a very good kickboxer, great kickboxer. But in the UFC, he had the best body by far, but he didn't win a lot in the UFC. But based on his body, you'd be like, oh, this guy should kill everyone. So a lot of his technique and like if you were to have comics fight each other, Aaron Berg would be someone I think who could do some damage. Luis Gomez, but Luis Gomez like trains jujitsu and shit. So um, tell Tracy I said hello and crush it at Don't Tell Comedy. Tracy Carnazzo is one of the reasons I got monetized because I couldn't figure it out. Um, and then someone like me, probably people think I'm a great fighter because I'm a pretty big guy. Like, I'm pretty like muscular for a comic, but um, I don't have great technique. I mean, Andre the Giant, but that's a guy who, if you were to ask me who would win in a fight, Andre the Giant or Bad News Brown, I would say Bad News Brown because he was a legit. I think he was a bronze medalist in the '76 Olympics in karate. So, um, well, no, I mean, I have a great body for a comic, but that doesn't mean I'm a great fighter. Um, you know, toughest dude, Judo Gene LaBelle, 100%. But Gene LaBelle, if you looked at Judo Gene LaBelle, you'd think, I could beat this old guy up. He could put you in an armbar in 2 seconds and fucking break your arm. Earl is not 6'6", and I'm certainly not 285. Right now, I'm about 6'1", 205. Well, yeah, Andre's body toward the end of his life was a mess. I am about 6'1". I look taller than I am. That's a pay-per-view match voiceover off. Um, well, everyone gets a spare tire to burn off. I mean, I have a bit of a belly and I fucking work out every day. It's just, if you work out naturally, you're gonna, there's just only so much you have to take either when you're my age at 55, you either have to take TRT or some other, growth hormone or something, or I mean, I can't work out any more than I do. I can't. But TRT is testosterone replacement therapy. Um, like if you want to look at what TRT can do, look up older pictures of Vitor Belfort and Dan Henderson, and they were on TRT, and then they got off TRT because UFC outlawed it, and then they literally look like deflated tires. So unfortunately, once you take TRT, you can't stop because your body then stops producing TRT, testosterone, and then if you go off of TRT, you got nothing. So Chris Benoit was framed. No, I think Chris Benoit was pretty guilty. But hey, at least we know his finishing move worked. Hello. Where's the kids' tag team partner? Hello. What do you mean? Look at Kumia. Does he take TRT? So have you tried Kratom, Earl? I have not. I mean, I do take creatine when I'm lifting weights. A couple vitamins. I think HCG keeps your balls alive while you run testosterone. Well, I was, oh, he was on TRT. Yeah, I mean, right. Well, but he also had a serious heart issue. So, but if you look at Cumia now, he looks like, like gaunt almost. Now, maybe some of that is due to his heart situation, but maybe, I would guess he went off TRT and that's what has. I mean, Dr. Nova, you're out of control. Best wrestler of all time. I mean, if you're asking a serious question, who the best wrestler was, probably Lance Storm. He was a great technical wrestler. And then just, Eddie Guerrero. I mean, Benoit was a great wrestler. Dean Malenko, man of 1,000 moves. Um, so we're gonna go till 5 o'clock. So we're gonna go for another 4 minutes. Yeah, I liked EAS Sports creatine gummies, but I don't believe that EAS Sports is in business anymore. If I'm not mistaken. Um, I mean, Road Warriors were huge. Nikita Koloff in his prime is a fucking monster. Magnum TA, big dudes. Yes, thank you, Gina Babina. Hornswoggle was a great wrestler. I don't know about that. I met Hornswoggle at the Ric Flair roast. But hey, Dr. Chow, you like who you like. You're a Joe Mauer guy. I'm a Dave Parker guy. You know, I mean, there were some great. I'm trying to think of an actual great wrestler, like a technical wrestler. Well, obviously Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, uh, and then great wrestling characters. Ric Flair, Kerry Von Erich was a great. He was a little bit of both. Who's Modi? I don't know who Modi is, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, I mean, Iron Sheik was a good amateur wrestler. 31 likes, not bad. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not the most amount of likes and people, but 48 people is probably a high for me in terms of a Saturday Saturday stream. So, I might start doing Saturday streams, maybe at 3 o'clock. I'm still fucking around with the algorithm and whatnot, so appreciate you guys for being patient. Um, Yeah, I mean, Hawk was a big dude. British Bulldog, obviously a big guy. Ultimate Warrior, like when Ultimate Warrior was a tag team partner with Sting, with what were they called? The Blade Runners. I mean, he was fucking 285 and jacked. I mean, Sting was probably 250 and jacked, and he looked anorexic next to the Warrior. No, I think the wrestlers back then were better actors. The wrestlers now aren't good actors. Like, you really fucking thought Nikita Koloff was from Russia. He was from Minnesota. Uh, so, uh, well, I mean, I would say Ric Flair was a great wrestler from the standpoint of pro wrestling, but he did do the same moves. Dusty Rhodes was a great pro wrestler. The Twin Towers, who was it? Big Boss Man and Akeem, my brother. I tell you, if I can leave you guys with this, we got one more minute. God, what was that match with John Tenta on YouTube? Someone alerted me to John Tenta, who was Earthquake. Koji Katao. It was a sumo match in Japan that got real because I think Koji was upset that he couldn't manhandle Earthquake. And Earthquake, at one point, you can hear the cameras pick it up going, "Hey, this ain't a real fucking match, bro. This is pro wrestling." And then it got real. Just as I'm ending, we hit the 50 person thing. So check out John Tenta Shoot Fight with Koji Katao. That's Kojikitao. It's pretty amazing to watch. Like, to see a pissed off Earthquake is Uh, Scary. Yeah, I still think they should do a Dark Side of the Ring on Kamala, but you know, they they didn't. So before I leave, let me thank the tippers again. I just like the tippers to feel special. Kongzilla, Peter Chicken Man, Brennan, and ACDC 5150. I appreciate it today and past. Tips. Shout out to William Zoom, wherever he is. Yeah, I mean, Ric Flair, he loves to drink. Ric Flair is a drinker. I mean, well, I think they all worked. Ric Flair, the Road Warriors, Nikita Koloff, and I think uh, some other guy who didn't quite, John Nord, maybe, um, had all worked as bouncers at the same bar. Can you imagine walking into that bar? Bye, KB. I'll see you in Vegas. Dinner on me. Earl and KB in the house. So that's pretty. Can you imagine being a college guy? I could take these fucking bouncers on. Good night, Brittany. Good night, everyone. I appreciate you guys. The likes, the shares. There's many ways to contribute uh, on the show. Let me start my cool down. Come on, Dr. Nova. That's a super chattable statement. So to follow me, it's pretty easy. You just at Earl Skakel, and then hit me up. And if you're ever in Los Angeles, um, let me know. Instagram me. I'll take care of you at the Comedy Store. And thank you, Gina Babina, for being a great moderator. And I love you all. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. We're going to try 6 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. on Sunday nights, just to see if going earlier helps or hurts or stays the same. And I love you guys. Earl Skakel, Saturday night, live is done.